For my second year, I got a consumer confidence index of 103.3. This is quite high. Therefore, I feel that if I were to keep interest rate the same, more people would continue borrowing money. With this more borrowing, there would be a higher spending. Especially because I've done with the multiplier effect. The multiplier effect showed me that this big change might change a lot, and might just by keeping interest rate at this level, this will stimulate the economy. So therefore, I want to keep interest rate at this level. So I decide not to change interest rate. So interest rate remains at 2.5%. While I also am not going to change income tax rate, because I still believe that the government should get its revenue from the income tax rate, since with the revenue it gets from the income tax rate, it can still continue spending. My corporate tax rate will not be changed either, therefore still remaining a tax rate of 28%. That keeping corporate tax rate at 28% is good, because it's not too high. It's going lower, because if corporate tax rate can go lower, this means there would be a higher GDP. I also want GDP to remain at this level, because I feel that GDP growth between 2.9 and 3 and 2.9 and 3 and 2.8, it is not bad, because I feel that if economy is to grow by 2.8%, this is it might be a slow growth, but it's a stable growth. Therefore, it's only growing by a little bit, but it's always growing. Therefore, firms are also able to continue to produce, and GDP grows continuously. I'm also not going to change government expenditure, because I feel that I want to minimize the budget deficit I have. So, and I want to minimize budget deficit, and I also want to keep inflation below 3%. So I don't want to again stimulate too much the economy by putting too much money into it. Therefore, I believe by not changing any factors, I believe though the only negative effect I will have will be that the exchange rate will decrease again, and my trade balance will decrease, and also my government debt will my government debt although my government debt will decrease, because it should be slowly decreasing, because I'm also spending less now, because I'll be gaining more from the income tax, and still gaining from the corporate tax, and not increasing spending. I feel that with this consumer confidence at 103 and the global economic growth forecast, I feel that if I keep this stable, there's no point in changing any factors. And I believe that by not changing anything and keeping at this steady level, the economy will still be growing, but will not be overgrowing, and especially inflation will grow by little, not by too much. Because as I'm at 2.5, I do not want inflation to grow to go up to 3. I want it to stay between the 2.5 and the 3 if possible. So again, to repeat, the decisions I will make for upcoming year 2 will be: I will keep interest rate the same, so 2.5%, income tax rate the same, 24%, and corporate tax rate the same, 28%, and finally government expenditure will remain at 31 billion. And what I hope to see are the same goals, and the goals are always the same. So real GDP growth to go above 2.5%, my unemployment rate to stay below 5%, my inflation rate to stay between 2% and 3%, but personally I would like 2.5 and 3%, and my budget deficit to remain below 3.